Good afternoon, and thank you for being here today to hear about my experiences with quantum education in high schools and community colleges. The 6 parts of this presentation are building on the past using optics, lasers, fiber optics, polarization, diffraction, spectroscopy, making sure to include hands-on lab work in the form of physical experiments in the classroom, including content that the students are familiar with that can lead them to the unfamiliar quantum realm, doing virtual work like quantum computing as taught by Qubit with IBM's QuizKit, networking with professional societies and local student chapters, and working with local nonprofits that link industry sponsors with local schools. My name is Donn Silberman, and I've been a volunteer doing informal and formal optics education for almost 20 years. And several years ago, I've layered quantum concepts on top to introduce students of all ages to the quantum world. I founded the Optics Institute of Southern California in 2003 to work with OSA, SPIE, and the Optical Society of Southern California in many aspects of optics education. I've been closely associated with Irvine Valley College Laser Technology program for over 25 years, and that program recently moved to Pasadena City College near the California Institute of Technology and the Jet Propulsion Laboratory during the COVID lockdown. In 2009, I started the UC Irvine Optical Engineering and Instrument Design programs through their Division of Continuing Education. And for 5 years before COVID, I was a volunteer with VitalLink, a local nonprofit linking local industry sponsors with local schools, and this year I joined their board of directors. Building on the past with hands-on optics labs, I took a short course for high school educators in the summer of 2021, offered by the University of Waterloo, called Schrodinger's Class. And I've adopted their curriculum on quantum key distribution using the same polarizing filters I've been using for many years to teach students about light in general. Students may have heard about Polaroid sunglasses, so that is something familiar that I use to get them into the quantum mysteries. Another readily available tool from the past is diffraction gratings. These are low cost enough that I like to let the students keep them so they take them home and share with their family and friends. They can do hands-on experiments with a laser pointer and measure the distances to the first order diffraction spots, and also look at the spectrum of various light sources and compare them to the spectrum of known sources. We provide worksheets for both these activities. The Laser Tech program has about 44 college partners across the country, including Pasadena City College, and the Ed Quantum program is building several courses on top of the Laser Tech program so students can be ready for quantum technician jobs in industry. All of these colleges have outreach programs to local high schools and can be used to teach quantum as the opportunities present themselves. The high school that I was first fortunate enough to give my Quantum for High School Students presentation was to 11th and 12th grade engineering classes at the Samueli Academy in Santa Ana, California. This opportunity came to me by way of the VitalLink relaunch event this past June, since they had been closed down due to COVID for almost 2 years. An old outreach friend of mine is the engineering instructor, and one of his students was at the VitalLink event. After hearing my presentation, 2 11th grade students decided they wanted to start their own Schrodinger's Quantum Club over the summer, and when the time to recruit student members came around at the beginning of the fall semester, they had about a dozen members sign up. Here you can see some students working on their hands-on labs, and the photo in the top right is the club president at an open house for their engineering fab lab. You can see she is displaying 2 quantum map posters from the domain of science that I donated so they can use them as guides during their meetings. One teaching tool that was new to me when I started last spring was Kahoot. This is an online tool that teachers use to get their students engaged in the material being taught. I have created and used several of these with each 6 or 7 questions to go along with various versions of my Quantum for High School students presentations. The students compete in real time to see who can get the highest number of correct answers. This one here asks the question, what best describes the term quantum? I use one Kahoot in the middle of the presentation and a second one near the end. This photo was taken during a Python programming course at the local high school in Corona del Mar, California. The virtual work I've been engaged with is the Qubit by Qubit program offered by the coding school. This program is for high school students, but they've let me take the course so I can be an ambassador in Southern California and augment my outreach efforts with their materials and help recruit more students, teachers, and schools to take their full programs in the coming years. This program is sponsored by IBM and uses QuizKit as the main focus. I'm looking forward to see how I can help integrate QuizKit into some high school Python programming courses and computer clubs. A couple weeks ago, Doug Fink and I spoke at the November Optical Society of Southern California meeting in Tustin, California, providing an overview of the quantum industry, education, and outreach. This was a live in-person meeting that was also live streamed for people who live and work too far away to make the commute in the Southern California traffic. The OSSC always invites students from local college and university optics and photonics clubs because they are the near-term future workforce, but they also reach out to local high schools to recruit younger students into their fields. As I mentioned at the beginning of this talk, I've been associated with the OSSC, SPIE, and Optica for several decades as a member and volunteer outreach leader. Both SPIE and Optica have local student chapters worldwide, and they are great resources to help get quantum education out to the local high school students. In August, I gave a presentation to the SPIE Optics Education and Outreach Conference where I discussed that my presentation, Quantum for High School Students, can be modified and used by other volunteers so they don't have to create an outreach presentation from scratch. This can be very helpful for the student clubs. Both Optica and SPIE have provided this information to their student clubs, and you too can use it if you'd like. Details are on my website. The Optical Society of Southern California maintains a web page on their website that lists some of the student clubs in California. Some of them have already reactivated after COVID, some have not. One goal of the OSSC is to reach out to these colleges and universities in Southern California and help them recruit new members and then help them with their high school outreach programs. Here is a photo of the UC San Diego SPIE Student Club during a recent recruiting effort where they had some hands-on demonstrations available in their undergraduate teaching laboratories. I have mentioned VitalLink a number of times during this presentation, and I want to end with some thoughts about local nonprofits. The organization has been around for over 20 years, but during COVID, they took time to reorganize themselves with some new staff, including the new president and board members. They have had many events which they have led and many that they participate in with other organizations. STEM is their top priority, but they do work in other fields too. They have many local industry sponsors and educational partners. So I have found that working with VitalLink is my best path to reach the local schools. I highly recommend looking for and partnering with similar local nonprofits in your area. So to summarize the points I feel are most important, building on the past, relationships, technologies, and programs, using hands-on labs to get the students involved right away, use contact and context to the students to take them from the familiar to the quantum, and use virtual quantum education programs that are already established. But most importantly, I think it's good to partner with local and student chapters of professional societies and partner with local nonprofits that are already connected to local businesses, schools, and school districts, K through 12s and community colleges, of course, as well as the universities. So with that, I want to thank you very much for your time and your attention. And there's a QR code there if you want to go directly to my website. The addresses are down on the bottom left. And I think we have some time for some questions.